Hi guys, it's me. It's Khutso here. Welcome if you're new, welcome back if you're already a Bioskop. Guys, welcome to another recap video of Married at First Sight Mzansi. Please guys, like the video, subscribe and click the notification bell so that you are notified every time I post. Today's video is us recapping episodes 8, 9 and 10. It's gonna be a wild ride as always. Things went awry, so let's get into it. Episode 8. Thabang has a whole meetup with his friends and tell them that he is now married and he met his wife at the altar. His friends think he's too young, he should live life more before he ties himself down to someone forever. He then tells them that his partying lifestyle is causing a lot of friction between him and Makumo. In his diaries, he does say the banger persona is just that, a persona. Yes, he parties, but it sort of is part of his job to do that. But there is a lot of friction behind the scenes between him and Makumo when it comes to that. He does say in his diaries also that he has invited her along to parties and things, and it's sort of no longer as much of an issue, but it is an elephant in the room still.
That's the one thing I miss, obviously, Ploy and Mzansi. That's what I don't like about her. Maybe we don't have a deeper connection.
His friends ask him if he's happy. In response to that, he mentions his blowout that he had in front of Boitepo and Sebenzile at the luncheon when they were in Harties for the getaway. And that it was that fight that made him look at their connection differently. This must mean that previously he was sort of kind of happy, but now he's looking at his connection in a different light because Makumo decided to broadcast and air out their tea laundry in public. And he has been considering and contemplating whether they are a good match anymore. We find Boitepo and Sebenzile back at the apartment. They've come from a lot of shopping. They are both so happy. And they do mention that they check in with each other all the time, emotionally, mentally, and make sure that they are always on the same page and connected. We find that Sebenzile bought Boitepo a bag that she's been eyeing and wanting for a while, and she is so happy. Hey, it's of life, gumnandi. Being in love is nice for them, at least. Yeah, well, there's hope. Guys, there's hope. Dr. Anele, guys, is back. He's here to save the day because after that whole blowout and all the secrets that were revealed at that golden envelope challenge questions game, bruh, Khutso is going through it. Ditshwanelo and Khutso attend their therapy session after the whole fight on the boat. They are there because of their relationship breakdown. What with the silent treatment, the baby daddies, the throuple allegations, and Dee always snapping at her husband for talking, for speaking the entire retreat. Dr. Anele asks Khutso if he is ready for an independent wife. Ditshwanelo, guys, she's got a really big personality, and Khutso is such a polar opposite of that. So it's natural that Dr. Anele is worried for him. I am too. Khutso, are you okay? Confidently, Khutso says, no, I'll ground her. I've even seen it myself where she comes in with this high, big energy, and I'm like, no, let's meet in the middle. She comes down and I come up a bit, and then we meet in the middle. He realizes that Dee is quite hyper and very extra, but he's very confident that he can ground her and make her sort of relax a bit and not talk in such high tones all the time. Since Dr. Anele knows that they had a fight, Dr. Anele is like, yes, this is a good thing because you will face conflict right now and we can actually see how you guys manage your conflict and whether you guys have the tools to fight correctly and fight towards each other. Dee then divulges that Khutso's silent treatment would have felt like abandonment a couple of years ago, but her growth over the years have made her, she felt like it was of no consequence at all, really. She was literally said, I am unbothered by it. In her diaries, she does say that and recognize that the silent treatment breeds more silent treatment, that it's a vicious cycle where nothing gets resolved in the end. The conversation then turns to how they will parent. Khutso is going to have to be a full-time parent to DEE'S son, while he's a part-time parent to his own daughter. Because of that situation, the mother of his child also has a partner who lives with her full-time. So he understands that the full-time father figure will be whoever her mother is with at the time. I feel like you can see in his eyes that it hurts him a lot that his daughter is growing up like this, but I feel like he is quite appreciative and is rolling with the punches and is trying by all means to have a healthy co-parenting relationship with the mother of his child so that his daughter can have the best of both worlds. Dee, on the other hand, is looking to have a predictable schedule when it comes to Khutso's parenting style, because with Khutso and his co-parent, he texts only, and they always play it by ear when it comes to where their child will be that week, that month. But with Dee, she feels a bit uncomfortable with that. She wants more structure when it comes to that. And she sort of still doesn't understand how it works, but she's just like watching from afar for now. They then touch on the co-parenting conversation where it's Dee and her co-parent have a cozier type of relationship as compared to him and his co-parent, and that whenever they do fight, their marriage is also negatively affected too. Dr. Anele does say they do have a lot to work through, because as compared to the other couples where there isn't a child involved or a co-parent involved or other relationships that can directly affect their marriage, their situation is more complicated since they have so many other relationships to consider before having to make a decision and be on the same page. Dr. Anele closes the session and says that they will have to stretch themselves in order to step up to the plate and meet each other halfway, and that he sees a lot of great potential within them. They just need those tools so that they can manage conflict a little bit better, because the silent treatment is kind of manipulative and kind of childish, and they need to just find their compromise and work through things in a healthy way. Z then meets her in-laws, guys. Thami's mother. They are expecting, from what Thami had said in the morning, 15 people. The apartment is decked out, looking ready to receive all of them. Thami in his diaries does reveal that there have been these nasty rumors back home where everyone in the community thinks that he got married to a man, and that's why no one was notified or invited to his wedding. He also reveals that some of the rumor mill was churning within his own family. Yeah, Gooby Muse. Hey, Gooby. In his own family, guys. Even though Zithobile's mother is there, Zithobile is quite overwhelmed and nervous. Obviously, like, she's going to be meeting her in-laws for the first time. They don't know her. She doesn't know their son. It's quite overwhelming. Also, the guest list is always growing. Z is growing more overwhelmed herself, because now she's thinking about space, about are there enough chairs, is there enough food, maybe should I even buy takeout, maybe to accommodate if more people are coming, because Thami says that now there are 20 people who are coming. So this guy is giving this woman stress. Hey, Thami translate her being overwhelmed as complaining. In his diaries he says, no, like, I invited my family here, but she's complaining that I've invited my family here. Here's with Thami. Guys, I'm tired. I'm tired of Thami. Another child is worried that, no, I just need them to be accommodated well. I'm just worried that it's going to be stuffy and too warm because of the many bodies inside of this small space. And he translates that to, she's complaining. I'm bringing them here. She's been wanting me to bring them here, but she's complaining that they are coming. This man. Zithobile is quite surprised, pleasantly so, that Thami has been showing up. He's been helping with the setup of the tables and the chairs so that his family can be received well. He's taken charge of organizing most things, and she is quite elated. You can see on her face that she's quite happy about that. The family then arrives, and Z does say all of the men shook her hand, but all of the ladies did not. They just passed her by, and she was taken aback by that. She does say that they are typical Zulus who are from Emakhaya. So, yeah, very traditional. Thami, along with Zithobile, are sitting at the head of the table, and he breaks it down. He tells them that he married this beautiful lady next to him. He's in an experiment where he married her at first sight.
Besiqala ukubonana lapha mangimvula iveli. Ecela kwami uyena umakoti. Umakoti wami uzithobile isibongo kaSibaya.
They met at the altar and they got married same time. He is indeed married to a woman. There's a complete silence until his mother speaks and says, but what about ilobola? What about dowry? What about tradition? And the introduction of Zithobile to the family's ancestors in that way. I must say that his mother is quite a character. She is so unbelievably funny. She's charming. She's just a darling. She's a darling. His mom, Thami's mother, at the table says now it's over for her. Everything will now be taken over by his new wife, and she will be left with nothing. Even if he did pass from this earth, she will be left with nothing because the wife is gonna take everything.
Kodwa amanyandeni engazi uyobusa uhamba sunje ungasaphethe lutho kimi ngisho ngafa ngengungcwabe ngalutho sushadile nje uyothatha konke umakoti ahambe nakho ngisale nje ungabi nakho noko ngikhuluma iqiniso bakithi.
In a way, she's sort of insinuating Zithobile is sort of after his money. And in his diaries, Thami does say, I expected this. My mom has a duplicate of my card. So when I get paid, she also gets paid. But now she's thinking and realizing that since I am married, everything obviously needs to move from me and her to me and my new wife. She's concerned that she will lose all of her privileges. The sister even says Thami has been taking very good care of his mother. The mom, guys, is very worried. She's like, I'm watching you, Zithobile. It just goes to show that they don't know Z. We don't know her either. We know an edit of her, but she seems to be not this malicious witch that they are insinuating she is, who has come to just take everything away from the family and leave them destitute. Thami's aunt in her diary says that she is so happy Thami has married Zithobile, who's beautiful, by the way, and her worst fear has not come to fruition, that Thami married a man.
Cha ngikwele anginayo inkinga sengimbonile uMasibaya ngoba besinokudideka singazi noma ushada neNdiya singazi noma ushada nomlungu singazi noma ushada nendoda enye.
I feel like he's doing this. Obviously, they all have to meet their families, but I think for Thami, it's way more important so that he can prove that here she is. She is a woman. She has boobies. She has all of the lady parts. So whoever said that I am gay and am married to a man in this family, suck it. You lost. His mom is such an enchanting storyteller. The way she used her body to tell the story about how she was sobbing after hearing her neighbors, the community was saying her son was married to a man. Guys, you've missed out. If I can find the clip, I'm going to put it next because you have to experience this woman. I can't believe Ugutu Thami was born from such a queen, bruv.
Sizongabantu asebemgcweka le makhaya athi uyashada uThami ushada nenjeza injeza ke kuthiwa indoda le makhaya ngakhala lokho ngidlwa lokho kade ngingakabafowethu kwangidla. I
laughed so hard. Such a charmer. She is a proper hoot. Z in her diaries just hopes that the family will treat her well and that she is quite lazy. She's never actually swept the yard before. She doesn't really care where the leaves go, you know, and she hopes that they treat her with kindness and are soft with her. I think those expectations are quite lofty for people who are quite rural.
Masibaya usiphathe sesikhulile nawe uyabona ukuthi sikhulile sesidinga izandla ey'ntofontofo.
The men in Thami's family, they're very like ndodana, mshana, so it's giving yebo baba. And what she is hoping for, I hope she gets if she continues to be with Thami after the experiment. I think she's reaching too high. In this case, they will treat her well, but with the whole laziness thing, I think they're gonna give her the side eye a bit. They'll think she's too bougie, you know, and she needs to be brought back home, back to her roots type thing. She might just have like a really tough time. Zithobile's mother thanks them for honoring their invite.
Ngiyajabulela Mnasi. Asiyazi sonke lento bayiqalile ngithi. Yibo bayaziyo. Now we are going to bless whatever they wish for. I can't say mina umkhonyana mina kakabeki inkomo but ifiance ngesilungu basho njalo ngithi ngesilungu. So ngiyajabula abantu abadala ngonitsiba ngunazi.
And Zithobile is given a traditional makoti outfit. She's like, oh my gosh, I love my dress. It's so cute, guys. They all seem happy. Thami's mother comes back and goes into another tale about how Thami tends to sulk the entire day and she hopes her new makoti can be able to withstand that. Thami, with his never-ending compliments, does not disappoint and says, and I quote, /paraphrasing, they definitely love her because rural people love heavy-set makotis. And thus that makes Zithobile a prize in his family's eyes. Her being a yellow bone doesn't hurt. His mother loves light-skinned women too. Never disappoints. Boitepo is out and about at a restaurant. This is where they are celebrating her aunt's birthday. She also, within that celebration, delivers the news that she is now married. They sing her aunt a happy birthday, and Boitepo does explain that this woman, her aunt, has been there since the passing of her mother, and she's been there through thick and thin, through the trials and tribulations, and she truly is appreciative of her. She then delivers the news that she is now married. If you remember Boitepo's cousin sister, she's also there, and obviously she knows she just wanted Boitepo to deliver the news herself. Her aunt, literally, she cannot believe it. She is dumbfounded. She goes quiet, literally. And in her diaries, Boitepo does say, with her and Sebenzile, nobody really knows what's going on with her or him and their relationship. So she wanted to take this opportunity to sort of update everyone in person so that they know they are all okay and alive, doing great, happy, you know, all of the fun stuff of life. She also says her and Sebenzile are never home, which is quite interesting. But she did say that they do make sure to connect during the day, talk, and make sure that they are on the same page. Boitepo then asks her aunt to accompany her to meet the Ngwenyas, which is her in-laws. Boitepo does also say her father declined to be on camera, but he has expressed to her that he wants and will be supporting her in the background, and he will meet everyone outside of the experiment and off camera. It's the day where Sebenzile and Boitepo's families meet. They all click and they really like each other. And also Sebenzile's father, very young looking. Very young looking. Whoa, you would think. Sebenzile's family does say Sebenzile has never ever brought a girl home, and they were even contemplating whether he was, you know, into the same. Naturally so. They even laugh when they say that, but they are happy to meet Boitepo.
Seven never brought a girl at home, not even a friend. This is the first time we see Sebe with a woman.
Besides, even his mommy was busy asking, hey, do you know Sebe's girlfriend? I don't, he's not gay. You sure he's not gay?
Since Boitepo is such a daddy's girl, she is quite disappointed and sad that he's not a part of what's happening at the moment, but she does know that they will meet eventually.
My dad not being around, as a daddy's girl, it stings, but the time will come. And get him into it first, and then
So the family asks where to from here, and Sebenzile takes the lead and says, no, we just wanted to introduce you guys to us and our marriage, and with everything going forward, me and Boitepo will have to discuss everything, get on the same page, and then we'll tell everyone what's going on thereafter.
I have a question though. What's the next step? Where are we going from here?
There will be no pressure from the family. We are introducing you guys to Impilo Yetu, and we are introducing each other to the family. We decided to take this step, and we're going to decide which Soyenzan after.
Boitepo hopes that Sebenzile's family welcomes her, and Sebenzile's family, though, they seem so happy to have Boitepo within the family's fold. They even pray as a family, so they really did click and connect. Hey, this is like literally a fairy tale, the way everything is going for them, and I hope the bubble doesn't pop. I hope they stay together, God willing. Z has planned Thami's birthday. We are at the venue, and Zithobile gets to meet his friends and also his daughter. Thami apparently only invited the guys to his party because, according to Zithobile, he feels that the wives are not his friends. And to each their own. Zithobile struggles to pronounce one of Thami's friends' names, and I'm with her on that one. And they're both vendor. One is a teacher and one is a doctor. Thami then walks into his birthday, and he has his daughter tagging along. She is so cute. Z also thinks she's the sweetest little girl ever. They gently then explain to her that she is her dad's new wife. His daughter, man, she is so honest. Kids, guys, are so honest to a fault. When production asks her if she likes Zithobile, she's like, I don't know. How honest is that? Like, I don't know. Don't ask me questions I don't know anything about. I don't know. Apparently, right, while she's in the diaries, apparently her life was upended when her dad had to suddenly move out of their place and then move in with, as we know, Zithobile right now. She seems sad that that had happened, but now she's finally meeting the person that her father has been living with. Z also notices at the table that his daughter, Owetu, I think her name is, quite excited to be in her father's presence. Thami then reveals that, no, this is actually my wife, and one of his friends, I'm gonna call him Blue Shirt, it's Blue Shirt guy, he interjects and is like, I don't understand, why didn't you come to me? And I would have hooked you up with like a vendor girl. Vendor girls are quite beautiful, and I know someone. Why didn't you come to me? I don't understand. He explains that he knows a couple of vendor girls that are very rural and they know how to make a fire, insinuating that Zithobile doesn't, which I understand because he really doesn't. He read her right. But that is quite disrespectful though, sir. Blue Shirt man. Blue Shirt guy believes that the experiment is complete nonsense and that they shouldn't have done things like this. But like, my guy, you can't control what people do, right? So there's that. Z does counter what he says and says that we are grown adults, we can do whatever we want. I don't like Blue Shirt. Blue Shirt is sort of like condescending, is giving me that kind of energy. The male cast arrived for Thami's birthday and they're really happy to see him. And Blue Shirt at the table, he flat out says that what they've done is wrong. I understand why Blue Shirt and Thami are friends. I get it. I see it. Do you see where I'm coming from? I see it. Blue Shirt essentially goes on a rant and says, you guys are too handsome to have come to this experiment and participated. Why didn't they all come to him? He knows a flurry of women, all of them vendor, by the way, and that they could have had their pick of the litter. He doesn't even recognize that these people are legally married and disregards that and says, no, but like they're women, I can organize for you, don't worry. In Blue Shirts' diaries, he says that he would never ever do this, and he's standing next to the doctor guy next to him, right? He says he would never ever do what they did, what the guys did, because what if he marries a witch? Mind you, this guy is not even married. He left all the vendor women in Venda, all the beautiful vendor women in Venda, and he's not married himself. And he's out here saying that they made the worst mistake ever and they should have come to him. He's the savior in this story. Hey. Guys, remember, ne? Thami and this guy are friends, and I see why. The guys obviously are celebrating Thami's birthday, and in their diaries, Khutso comes out and says the lobola negotiation process is discouraging in terms of it is very financially demanding. There's vulamlomo, there's all of these other things that are connected to the actual bride price, which is a separate amount that the family will then ask for. Sebenzile then agrees. He's like, yeah, their partner is involved within the process in some way so that everyone can meet halfway and no one is asked for too much when they can't really afford it. So their partner would then go to their family and explain their partner's financial situation, not completely, but give her family an idea of what kind of price they should be shooting for, so that everyone can meet each other halfway and there is understanding. The boys, they're happy and glad to see Zithobile and Thami interact, and they think they seem happy. They actually see there is progress between the both of them. They end the night by wishing Thami a happy birthday. That's how episode 8 ends. Episode 9. Zithobile visits Dr. Zenda, the therapist on the show, to talk all things intimacy in her marriage. So the first question Dr. Zenda asks is, are you getting what you need? And do you think your needs are being met in the bedroom? Z says that he is trying and that in the beginning it was very traditional. But now that they are communicating, things are definitely getting better. They're talking about more. So I think, things are heating up in the bedroom for her and him. Then she asks a question of whether she is attracted to him sexually. And the answer essentially is no. She then explains that to be attracted to someone, they have to do things for her. So she is an acts of service type of girl. So the more a person does, the more attracted she becomes. But I think Dr. Zenda was talking about sexual chemistry, whether she finds him sexually attractive. And her answer was essentially no. Like, it feels like they are on the same page in that regard, because even Thami, his friends, did mention him liking women who are smaller.
Sina Angela, so 3, we know Thami's taste. Doesn't like Habandaba fats.
And she is, outside of his attraction range. And with her, she essentially is saying no. So, yeah, there is a type of disconnect when it comes to them in that department. So, she goes on to complain about how Thami doesn't give her the attention she needs. She's not getting the quality time she needs because Thami will be there physically, but mentally and emotionally he is absent. He would be, according to her, on his phone the whole entire time, and he would be like, but I'm here. But they wouldn't be talking, they wouldn't be communicating, they wouldn't be cracking jokes. Bruv, like, where's the conversation? She really truly feels the emotional and mental distance between them, and that is the reason why her attraction to him is slow going so far. Dr. Zenda asks if she has emotionally checked out, and she says no. She explains to Dr. Zenda that she gets angry. She is reacting still and getting angry and trying to fight toward him. And if she didn't get angry, she would have checked out emotionally a long time ago. But even though she hasn't checked out, she does explain that she isn't fully showing up to the marriage either. She is sort of waiting for the other shoe to drop so that she can finally admit that she tried and that it's over, but she would just go on with the experiment and then finish it off knowing that she doesn't have a husband anymore and she won't be agreeing to recommit to Thami. She also says Thami and herself, they talk at each other and not to each other. And they do still need more tools to adequately communicate so that they can get their needs met and connect further and deeper. We go to Thami, who's visiting the men's clinic. To me, it's coming across as an advertisement. I don't get it. I'm just like very flabbergasted. And so is Zithobile as well. When Thami comes back from his visit, they sit down at the kitchen table and they talk about it. And she is like, but I didn't know that we had problems and you were having problems either. We go to Tabang, who is visiting his family. He's going there to deliver the news that he's now married to essentially a stranger. And guys, his grandma is such a darling. She's so cute and she has this tiny little voice. Oh my goodness. Upon hearing this news, grandma is disappointed. She's like, you did everything without me? Why, Mtanam? The sister wasn't expecting it either. Tabang's mom is also there and Tabang's uncle, Umalume, is also there. So everyone is naturally shocked. The family, though, does come around. Grandma says they will support him no matter what, and that marriage is a big commitment and they'll be there with him every step of the way. Back to Thami and Zithobile's talk after his very staged visit to the men's clinic.
Do you have problems?
I don't know, you tell me.
That's news to me.
But well, you do my checkups and check it now. The way I'm going to my performance, it will level right in.
Serious?
Zithobile was none the wiser about Thami's problems, and that was the reason he was visiting the men's clinic. Thami goes on to say Z is the main reason why his performance is so weak. I will never understand how men have the audacity to blame women for their problems.
You must get involved because the doctor said kungenza ukuthi now an implication to my performance.
Whose body is this? Who can control themselves long enough to satisfy his wife? And it's her fault. It's her fault. This is a weird conversation. I don't understand why this man is searching for a fight. Why is Thami searching for a fight, everyone? Thami explains that he went there also to check his fertility, even though he has a child already. This leads Zithobile to confess that she does have polycystic ovarian syndrome, which does directly affect her fertility.
I have PCOS.
What's that?
Polycystic ovarian syndrome.
So
there are cysts on my ovaries. Yes.
I don't know what I can say about them.
She, in her diaries, does express how much she wants to be a mother, but within reason, right? The husband, the father, needs to be someone sound, and she has to have that child within a sound family structure. She's not just gonna have a child with normal bani, and I love that for her. She's picky, she's been difficult when it comes to this issue, and I love it for her. She won't get trapped by Thami and people who are looking to use her as a means to an end.
Yeah, I constantly think about motherhood. I want to be a mom, but in my thinking of motherhood, I have to think about who I want to have a child with.
Use her just to have a child. It also indicates that she understands what it is to actually have a child. She wants it so badly that she understands that it takes attention, it takes money, it takes emotional maturity, it takes a lot out of a person to grow a person. and raise them from scratch to raise a healthy person into adulthood, mentally healthy, emotionally healthy, a well-rounded person into an adult, that's a lot of work. Me, I respect all of the mothers, all of the fathers, all of the guardians of this world. Because parenting, guys, it's war. It's war. Then she says her and Thami need to get on the same page before even having these future children. And then Thami decides to pick a fight and says, having children, man, we don't need to be emotionally ready or financially ready. We just have them. And also, this means that you are going to have to stop acting.
You and I have to sort things out first before we can start talking about having
So
children.
you're gonna stop acting?
Yes.
Because I told you within the acting ngiyifuni angiyithandi angizenzisi.
Okay.
Uyangiprovoke, she's so provocative. Like ngoba izinto azenzayo whenever she's angry. And ucasulwa izinto ezincane, simple, silly, and I acted towards those things.
And in my mind, I'm like, acting? Do you mean when she expresses an opinion that is different to yours? Is that acting to you, Thami? He says that no, she is always so dramatic. He doesn't like her dramatic antics. And he says it in a disapproving tone, like he's scolding a child and not actually talking to his partner. Guys, watching the show, I was like, this shows that Thami doesn't respect her. We are finally seeing the dynamic Zithobile has been talking about and how he tends to say things, right, that make her emotional and cry. This dynamic is so toxic. I don't know how else to even explain it. It's like watching abuse in action. It's kind of wild. It's wild. And this also shows that Thami sees her as a means to an end. She will be a person who's going to give him children, and then that's it. Treating her with respect, actually loving her, is not part of the equation. As long as she brings life to this world, case closed. Everything else doesn't even matter to him. He says she's always provoking him. Like Zithobile is a bother or something. Guys, that's wild. My brain, this blew my mind. It blew my mind. I was like, oh, Zithobile is actually living with this every day. She left her house to come to an experiment to be treated like this by some guy she doesn't even know. Imagine guys going, oh man, this experiment is God sent, only to be given the devil himself to deal with every day, a menace to your existence, who will test you. Zithobile is a saint. Wow. To show how much disrespect he harbors for this woman, he says that Zithobile is bothered by silly things. Hey. I'm laughing, but inside I'm crying because wow. Z then counters that and says, but you never do anything for me. Where are the flowers that I've asked for? Where are the chocolates that I've asked for? He's like, no, but the flowers are here. You just threw them out. And she says, no, I threw them out because they've been dead for so long.
Ufuna ukupretenda nje, into angiyifuna ngiyifuna.
Yeah, go right to for isn't and I do them for you. Whatever you want, I've done. But what I want is not done. Where are my flowers? There are no flowers here.
But my flower must
No, those were dead a long time ago. And I was waiting for you to also see that, oh, the flowers are dying.
each and every time.
Yeah.
You never do anything for me. Then the conversation devolves into Thami trying to talk about her body. Essentially, is deflecting, and kudos to Zithobile. Zithobile shuts it down. She's like, we are not going to talk about my body. We are not going to talk about my diet. We are not going to talk about how you think I am too big and I am essentially not attractive to you.
Where's my chocolate?
Because kumele ushintshe njalo manje schedule sakhe ngithi kuthiwa kumele udiet wena kumele ustop.
Have I spoken to you about my dieting? You do not get involved also in my dieting. That is me. Then
But
I must
iyaka-affect
stop.
mos.
We are going to shut this down right here. My body is off the table. I'm so proud of her for that. She's not letting him step all over her. And Z also says that Thami doesn't even talk to her, but gets mad every time she extricates herself from the situation and tries to leave the room. He looks up and is like, uyapi. He never engages her in conversation the whole time they are there. He's only present in the body, mentally, everything else. He's just not trying to connect to this woman via. She doesn't feel loved by him. She needs to see that he loves her and that love is a doing word and he needs to do. She also says that he belittles her. Oh my God, this is so sad. He belittles her every time they talk and makes her feel worthless. In his diaries, he's like, oh, but I feel like I'm mistreating her, hey? But I'm really not that kind of guy. What did we just see, Thami? The way he talks to her. No, man, this is not right. When she breaks down, Thami then feels guilty and is like, babe, don't cry, don't cry. Him feeling bad, like, I support that because he did that. It's his fault that she's crying. He should be feeling guilt. At least, I don't know, there's some semblance of humanity in there. Somewhere very deep inside. Deep. In her diaries, Zithobile sadly says that she was hoping for the best, but she feels like she didn't get her partner. She didn't get the husband she was hoping for because he sucks. Thami as a partner sucks. He sucks. Truly, Thami has been mistreating this woman this whole entire time. We finally saw this very toxic dynamic between them. I feel like Zithobile isn't really this emotional all the time. Thami triggers her. And that's so messed up. It's up, you guys. So the couples then receive their eviction notice. They are told that they are left with 1 week before they have to move out, and if they are going to make their living arrangements, they are welcome to do so. But if they are looking to still live together, they can speak to them further and they can definitely make a plan for them. Thabang reads the eviction notice alone. He is on FaceTime, but I think it's not even Makumo. He then says that Makumo will read the eviction notice one man, just like I did. Like he doesn't even care. Like Khutso and Tshwanelo, they are very excited about the next chapter. And while we are with them, Dee apparently has sent a whole novel. She has texted him and it's a whole chapter of like the Bible that morning. And surprise, surprise, he didn't even read it. It's surprising to find that Khutso doesn't even know her top 2 love languages, which is quality time and then physical touch, in that order.
I don't feel loved. So what are my love languages?
In answer to that, he says he did plan something and she's just ruining the surprise. The plans are actually to go grocery shopping. That's the quality time he envisions and plans to do with her. I think it's a joke, but if it's not, Khutso, so why? I trusted you, my guy. Why? Let it be a joke. Because if it's not Khutso, I'm very disappointed. Right now, as you can see, like, I don't think you can, but like I'm in the Dalangik 2 million pose of disappointment in my gown in the morning at 8 a.m. Tshwanelo meets her in-laws. They're at this beautiful space. Hey, she's meeting Khutso's mother and sister. She's obviously nervous because in the past she has met the in-laws and it didn't go that great. So understand. Khutso's mother is quite worried and asks Dee whether she's the type to send her granddaughter back home and away from where they are, like a wicked stepmom. And does also ask whether Dee has a child herself, so that at least they can all be on the same page and have that type of empathy and understanding that, okay, children are involved and this is how it should work and we should include them in this whole experience and experiment. Dee also recognizes that Khutso's mother and sister are giving rural vibes, you know, from Limpopo, and that she understands without question that she needs to tone down her bouginess in order to fit in with the family. Thami then meets Zithobile's family. They're also at a nice place. Zithobile's family, right, they're so warm and fun. You know, like she even has a gay uncle and he brought his partner there. They seem so happy and giddy, bruh. Like they are happy that their daughter is married. And I feel like they are forgetting to do the proper checks and they are sort of overlooking all of the red flags Thami is exhibiting time and time again. It's almost like he's not even hiding them. You know, he's not gonna do a Houdini and be like, I'm kidding, you got punked, I'm really like this, I'm actually a good guy. They are willing to overlook their child going through so much emotional turmoil because she is married. Do they look at marriage as an achievement? Maybe not. But they are trying to get their daughter married off and have a companion so that she isn't alone, that she feels what love could be inside of the construct of marriage. This family finds out Thami grew up in a polygamous family. One of her uncles gift Thami with a traditional blanket, a Sesotho, which is Sotho attire for men. He is essentially warmly welcomed into the family. Thabang and Makhuma's families meet. They're like outside. I don't know. I feel like it's giving like not even Mgruvo, mara one of Makumo's family members is drinking a savannah and they're outside. Is it a park? When it comes to location, guys, for me, that the location was giving that. Kumo's family, they are sort of afraid for her, right? They don't understand. When Thabang's family walks in, everyone greets everyone. Immediately, the families, they want answers. Makumo's family asks what they're doing and what about dating. And the couple answers that they will just date within their marriage. They understand their genuine concerns and they do explain that their decision is between them. They just need their families to come together and support them in this journey. In their diaries, Thabang's grandma and his mother, they notice that their son is very relaxed, very, laid back and happy, essentially. They already love Makhumo. Kumo's mother comes out and says she is very happy, even though she doesn't love him yet. She's very happy that her daughter hit the jackpot, the genetics jackpot, and her grandkids aren't going to be ugly. And she really, Kumo's mother seems to be very happy with him, even though there is no love lost between them. And then, guys, the golden envelope task comes back. This is a part 2. Things are going to go off the rails. Before any question is asked, Dee brings down the gavel and is like, guys, everybody here needs to answer the question. Answer every single question, whether you like it or you don't. Please remember this because it's very important. She came down on everyone and was like, answer every single question. And this obviously includes herself. She also needs to answer. Kumo comes back and is like, but if I'm not comfortable, I'm not gonna answer anything. And people are like, okay, yeah, Kumo, it's fine. Don't answer if you don't want to answer. And even with me, I was like, Yazin, Kumo, you are just, I don't know, you're a placeholder. You're just on TV for free. You're not answering anything. Why are you on my screen, ma'am? The first question is directed at her, and the question is, have you ever had a sugar daddy? She goes on this, she doesn't even answer. She's like, but what qualifies as a sugar daddy? I've dated older people before, but what qualifies a sugar daddy to you? Give me an age range. She answers with a question, which is like, but what? But why? But what? I don't like Kumo. He threatens that if she doesn't want to answer a question, then she won't. And Thami is like, don't threaten us. It's fine. If you don't want to answer, it's fine. Don't answer. But you don't need to put threats in there to make us be afraid to even ask you anything, Makumo. And it shows that Thami is so over it, even Thami. The man who said, these ladies are not my friends, so I'm not going to invite them to my birthday party, is heartful with Makumo. A question is directed at Thami, and the question is whether he will be able to protect Zithobile if any threat were to come to her. And such a stupid question. They're seeing that he is sort of kind of smaller than all the other men. Agajibi. This is such a stupid high school question. It's like, but why? He does feel insulted that someone would actually put in that question and be like, this is the question I'm sending in. This one right here. I feel offended for him too, even though it's kind of funny. This cast, Shem. This cast. At the same time, I'm like, feel what other people's kids are feeling. Ne? Zithobile feels you don't take her seriously. She feels like you don't care about her. Ne? At least feel something adjacent to that. Feel insulted. It's fine. Finally, someone makes you feel something you don't like. Hallelujah. Even though it's quite bad. At the same time, two things can be true at the same time. So, karma, maybe. Another question is directed to everybody. Do you feel regret for entering the experiment? Kumo comes out and says, no, she feels like everyone is in her business. That's the only regret she has. Everybody is in my business. I don't understand why people are asking me questions. And I'm like, how are they supposed to know how you are doing or how you are feeling if they don't ask questions? If they don't ask anything, so you want people to assume, you want the experts to assume. Makum, she needs to stop it. I feel like pretty privilege is playing a role here. Nobody has ever told her to just stop. Imagancane, because they all wanted to be in proximity to her prettiness, in proximity to what she gets because she is pretty. Hey, Makumo, stop it. No one has ever taught her manners. Pretty privilege is a problem. South Africa. Ice petty castilla. Makumo feels that her schedule was never catered to. And Buitepo stops her right there and is like, what are you saying? Because even my schedule wasn't catered to. I was supposed to get married on a Saturday. My family flew in so that they would be there on a Saturday, but everything was moved to be the next day, which is a Sunday. I wasn't crying. I wasn't hollering like you are right now. And you have the audacity to say that your schedule was not catered to? Hey! And also, Buitepo says that everyone else's schedules had to be moved around according to her schedule because now she was always working and things were moved back or forward depending on her schedule. And she has the audacity. She has the liver to say that, no, but like nobody made concessions for me. I don't get it. Like, really, Makumo, really? Buitepo does say that she wasn't treated like a princess, right? And she never even complained once, like Makumo is right now. She feels that Makumo is selfish. She tells her to her face. She thinks she's being selfish for what she is saying, for what she has done so far. And Makumo, literally, she doesn't care. She's like, whatever you feel is what you feel, but me, ungangifake eindabeni zakho. Yep. Oh my God. Hey, oh my God. When I say industry plant, Makumo in her eyes had her princess moment and she doesn't even care for what she said offends people and what has already transpired offends people. Makumo is so full of herself. She's the only one who exists in her world. And whatever everyone has to sacrifice for her that's the rule and not the exception. I don't like her. The infamous question, who would you choose to be in a threesome with? This question is directed at Khutso. He chooses B naturally because he does explain that B is more of his type. And when Khutso answers, B is like, yo guys, my man Kiskora, my man is big and tough, and I'm not up for that. I am not. Please don't include me. Please don't include me, right?
If you had a choice amongst the wives for a threesome, who would you choose and why?
You!
D, after hearing that, is not impressed. She puts him on the spot, pamgwabantu, puts him on the spot and asks why. And he better answer now. Everyone in the group is like, oh, this is really happening.
Yeah, I think we would recruit Bitsop.
No, don't count me.
Okay. Who would you recruit?
No. The question was posed to you.
Okay, to me.
Threesome including your wife.
Yes, yeah.
They said, who would you?
Me. I would tell her, let's try Bitsop.
Why would you want Bitsop to be part of a threesome with us?
Khutso further explains that no, she's my type and she is a gym bunny, so yeah, like I choose her. Bitsop is asked who she would kill, marry, or, and she says she will kill Thami, marry Khutso, and Khutso, and proceeds to takes her phone, right, and mentally tunes into it, just runs away from the situation because everyone can see that D is gonna lose her shit. D loses it. D's insecurities rear their ugly head and she shouts from the rooftops that this means that Bitsop and Khutso want each other. Simple as that. She says, Sebenzile, it is over for us. These two people want each other. And she laughs, and her laugh is tinged with desperation, insecurities, torment, pain.
So, ho bolelang hore lona ba babedi le abatlana. Sebenzile dog, it's over for us. No.
And she was laughing like she's about to keel over and die. Literally. I felt secondhand embarrassment for her because like the way she was acting, I know like that it touched a very sore spot, but girl, she should have just stopped right there. She should have stopped right there. But no, she goes on. She goes on a whole embarrassment tour, right? And tries to drag Sebenzile into this whole issue and says that if these two leave us, Sebenzile, if they leave us, we both know we'll find them together. Sebenzile is not moved by that and wants no part in the circus that D is trying to play and enact for everyone in the group at the moment.
If you know, if Bausi decision day, wait.
That's not right.
D, guys, is desperately trying to soothe her bruised ego. She doesn't like that her man chose Bitsop. It seems that she is, I'm gonna say, intimidated by Bitsop. Gooby guys, Sebenzile says that he understands that we are all human. We're going to be attracted to other people at some point. But he is sure in his connection to a point that it will not shake his commitment to Bitsop.
See, just know it's not about me.
But that's not going to happen. Yabo, any into futhi, yabo, you must realize that okay, we are all individuals. Yabo, sizela with azange sisichuzele umuntu. Sifike ukuthi la ngumuntu engifuna ngimshade, la cha, we didn't do that. We just submitted what we like, and they provided that.
He says that Bitsop is meeting his needs within their marriage, and this is too small a thing we'll soon forget anyway. Khutso then says D doesn't trust their relationship and doesn't think that they have a strong foundation, and D loses it. On top of everything else, she loses it because of this. She's fuming and says, why would you say that? You are literally throwing me under the bus in front of all of these people. Khutso stands up for himself and says he's not insinuating anything or throwing her under the bus. He's just making an observation.
No, it's just that he doesn't trust our relationship.
Yeah, but it won't happen.
Oh, you throwing me under the bus again?
I'm not throwing you under the bus. I'm just analyzing the situation.
This says that these people are looking at Dee like she has lost her mind. She is acting crazy, according to them, and she obviously doesn't trust their connection at all.
I don't know. Nothing.
Once again, you say
So
shit
my
that's
question was just maybe
blindsiding me in front of people.
That's why I asked.
That I don't have enough trust in our relationship. What?
Dee then has a whole hissy fit because of what Khutso has said, and she storms out. And that's the end of episode 9. Episode 10. Z is the first person who goes after Ditshwanelo. She checks on Dee after she has stormed out of the golden envelope task.
Even laughing.
So you can make a joke for me when I said.
I'm sorry.
I was also joking.
I'm out. I don't wanna.
Dee confides in Zithobile and says that Khutso has a tendency of revealing new information when people are around. She feels very blindsided by that, and that is also one of the things that makes her so angry. She feels slighted every single time Khutso does this. Khutso then arrives to hash things out. Ditshwanelo, the first thing she asks is why he always does this. Why does he always introduce new information in front of people and essentially slights her at every turn in public? Essentially why he said that don't worry about Ditshwanelo, she's just insecure. That's what she took from the conversation. Not that he made an observation that Dee is not confident in their connection. She heard Dee is insecure, don't worry about her. He then asks a question, a very important question. Why does the night always have to be ruined when Dee hears something she doesn't like? But when she says something everyone doesn't like, they all have to suck it up and live with whatever she just said. And how her reaction tonight makes it look like Khutso doesn't really care about Ditshwanelo and her feelings. He also asks why, when he says something, Ditshwanelo always translates it into something different and hears what she wants to hear. He says that he doesn't feel heard by Dee, and Dee never really makes space for him. Talk without fear of being misinterpreted or villainized. She starts to cry, and upon inspection, I didn't see a tear, I didn't see snot. She was just like nothing. Crocodile tears? I think so. She then twists what Khutso says and says he needs to stop it. She understands that she's not good enough for him. She twists everything from talking about him into everything being about herself. And as he tries to further explain what he's feeling, she interrupts and interrupts and interrupts. This is where we see the same behavior when they were on the boat. If she can do it in front of Pamgwabantu, what happens behind closed doors, guys? She's like, no, I can't take it. I can't take it. Please stop. And again, Khutso has to stop talking and stop sharing what he's feeling in order to cater to what Dee wants. Once again, he's essentially always left in the cold when it comes to his feelings. As long as Dee's feelings are catered to, nothing else really matters. I really think Dee weaponized her tears in this case, her would-be tears in this case, to make him stop. He mentions he was laughing at everything and all the questions and how everyone else was answering, but when the heat was directed to her, she lost her mind. She stormed out. She went on a whole embarrassment tour trying to soothe her own bruised ego. She does apologize, but literally I don't buy it. She wants the heat off of her. I don't buy it. Khutso finally asks the right question. Are you secure in our connection? And I think she is, but I feel like her insecurities are just stopping her from taking that final step. Ditwanelo says that Khutso doesn't care enough to make sure that she is feeling secure within her relationship. This begs the question of what is Khutso not doing? What needs are not being met? Maybe Khutso isn't showing Ditwanelo the love that she needs, which is, in her words, quality time, physical touch. In response to the whole Golden Envelope Task saga, a group session is called where the entire cast comes to therapy. Thabang breaks the ice and says they're all hungover, but then the real therapy starts. Dr. Anele inquires if Khutso and Dee are in a good space. Dee then breaks down the situation of what happened the night before and how she lost the plot and stormed off. She goes into explaining how she's not even sure if Khutso likes the way she looks. Khutso then says, my issue is that when I say one thing, it is translated into something else. He points out that when the other couples were answering, it didn't shake the foundations of the relationship. But when something was said pertaining to their relationship, they just crumbled. He said instead of her storming off, they could have shelved the conversation for a later time so that they could talk about it in private. Mzansi and Sebenzile do say they prepared themselves for the Golden Envelope task and they asked these questions in private so that they would be on the same page and not be surprised or caught off guard when the game was in session. Mzansi goes on to say she doesn't understand why a whole fantasy is disturbing Dee's peace and Dee's whole marriage. Something that would never cross over into reality has shook their foundation so much. With Kumo and Thabang, Kumo is annoyed once again. Like, when is she ever happy? She's annoyed that people try to force her to answer and try to force her answers to be a specific way. Thami and Zithobile have reached an understanding of how to be with each other in private and also in public. Dr. Anele then points out Thabang and Makumo seem to be okay looking from the outside. And it sort of unsettles him. He sees that these two are too playful with each other, and whenever something real comes up that they have to talk about, they always diverge and find something else to talk about and leaving that issue unresolved. And he asked the question, how do they deal with conflict? Thabang then answers that they have a rule that they are not to fight in front of people, and that rule was broken when they had gone to the retreat and him and Kumo had their big blowout. Originally, they would obviously solve their issues in-house, and after that whole public spat they have come back and talked everything through, and they are now on the same page. They had hit rock bottom because of that. They realized that their playfulness is negatively affecting their marriage, because when someone does mention that, no, actually I need this and this from you, it is always taken as a joke instead of taken seriously. Kumo, when it comes to the whole lobola situation, she wants her husband to take the lead and that she knows what she wants already. She seems, from what she's saying, she seems to be very committed to the experiment, and she knows what she wants. She just wants this guy to take the lead and do what needs to be done. All the men have heavily considered doing things traditionally, but they are still waiting for the recommitment ceremony so that they can set things in stone. Dr. Anele then says him and Dr. Zenda are there for them. If they need anything, they should not hesitate to come to them. He also thanks them for the gift they have given the experts of guiding them through this very unique experiment. The recommitment ceremony is fast approaching, and then we go to Z, who we find contemplating everything. She says Thami has communicated that the decision really lies with her, and whatever she wants, Thami will accept. And she feels so much pressure because of that. Sebenzile and Boitepo, we find them en route to a new apartment they are looking at. They are looking for Madulo accommodation where they can live together. So for them, it's going quite well. Thami and Zithobile, we find that Thami has done something very romantic for the first time ever for Zithobile. There is a whole setup, there are balloons, there are rose petals on the floor, guys. Hey! Naturally, she is surprised. Thami is saving face. In his diaries, he does say that he is a romantic guy. He was just checking the coast and seeing whether Zithobile was ready for his romance, because it was so big and overwhelming that she would faint if he had started being romantic at the beginning of or he would show his romantic side. So, it's a give and take for him. They have their lunch. I think chocolates are brought out, even flowers, yellow roses. Then talk about their future after moving out of the apartment. She does communicate that she isn't ready to move to Dubai as yet, but right now she is willing to visit him over the weekends while he's still in the country. And with moving to Dubai, she does explain that moving there will be quite a big, great undertaking for her, because she will not know anyone, and she's afraid that if things were to go wrong in a country that she doesn't know anyone else other than Thami, then she will be left stranded. She is very fearful of that. She also does communicate that living separately while they're in the country will bring a lot of anxiety, and she's afraid that it'll bring back bad habits for her, because she tends to block her partner whenever something does happen or they do fight or they're not on the same page. She's afraid that if Thami does that, she will then do that and then simply just detach without any further communication. Khutso and Ditanelo, they go to therapy with Dr. Bake and his wife, Dr. Nokwanda. We find that they fought the night before again, talking about the incident of the golden envelope task. We find that Khutso finally opened up to Dee and told her that he does feel disrespected by what she's been doing so far, and saying as well, told the boys as well. I think Dee also mentions that he's told the boys, and Khutso says that, no man, I told them. He doesn't say that, but I'm thinking that he told them just so he can get it off his chest and not have it be such a bother to him and it being at the forefront of his mind all the time. And Dee, once again, still feels blindsided by the information, even though it was told to her in private. It's like, see, pick your battles. Ma'am, I know you are blindsided, but you did say don't do it in front of other people, and he did that, but still you are still feeling blindsided. What's your story? Khutso says that he felt vilified for answering a simple question, and that his answer shook their marriage to such a point of crumbling. He is very surprised and disappointed at the guys, your gooby. Dr. B then says that no man, they don't have real problems. D then shares that with Khutso, he withholds affection every time they have had an altercation, even hold her hand when he is frustrated with her. Dr. Nogwande says them fighting in this way is actually them fighting towards each other, and that's a really good thing. Dr. Bake advises that they should be careful about exposing their relationship problems in front of other people, that they should only ever fight in private and behind closed doors, and that Khutso needs to give affection no matter whether he is frustrated or not. Dee needs to be respectful to him. They do ask Khutso what he means when he talks about respect. Khutso gives Dee an example of when she doesn't consider that they shouldn't be fighting in public. He tends to communicate that, no, we are fighting, but can we just shelve this conversation for later? We'll fight later in private. And Dee tends to not even listen to him and force the issue of wanting to fight at that moment. For him, that is so disrespectful. Dr. Bake then says that he would tell them if they were a train wreck, and they aren't. He sees train wrecks all the time and they are not. They do manage to come to a compromise about how they manage conflict. They can make an amazing couple. It's the next morning. We are with Khutso and Dee. They are on the balcony debriefing about their therapy session and what happened the night before. Khutso communicates that Dee needs to work on showing him more respect and listening when he does speak. He then continues and says she can't be shouting at him, she can't be screaming at him, and she can't be talking at him. He is very worried that Dee won't be able to do that. He's also worried about himself as well. I think he is very self-aware about his tendency to lean into the silent treatment quite a lot. Dee then goes into the whole makeup thing and how makeup for her is not the best way, in her opinion, to fix and resolve their issues. She feels like puts a bandage over everything and doesn't really help them connect as she would like. She would rather connect via holding hands. Dee promises to keep trying and apologizes to Khutso for taking longer than the average person to understand how he needs to be communicated with and understand what he really means when he does talk, because she still has that problem of translating and hearing what she wants to hear. Even though they have this debriefing, they still look and seem very mad at each other. They are really pissed at each other still. And that's how it ends, guys. So please don't forget to subscribe, to like the video, click like on the video, and tell me what you think about Dee and her storming out on the golden envelope task. Do you think that she was right in storming off? Guys, thank you so much. Remember, guys, that you can become a Bioskop with me by subscribing and clicking the notification bell for every time I post something. See you on the next one. Toodles.